Hey guys, sorry, I didn't upload last week. Last week, as you know, is half term, and I kind of got wrapped up in a couple bits for college. And so between trying to sort that out and relaxing, it kind of slipped my mind. So I apologize, but never fear. I am back with a, I guess you could say, a makeup video, and I decided to cover the big bad of modern urban myths himself. Today we are covering the modern urban myth. That was a mouthful of Slenderman. Now, you may be a bit confused as to why I'm covering Slenderman. As far as anyone and everyone knows, he's just a video game character that's also appeared in films, especially the most recent one titled, I think it's The Slenderman. But bear with me. So, Slenderman, obviously, he was a creepypasta. I can't explain creepypasta if I tried. I just recommend you guys looking it up because it's cool. They do a lot of cool stuff there. I can't remember. What am I remembering? Oh, damn it! I didn't write it down. But all right. So basically, there was a forum post. I can't remember its name. There it is. The something awful forum that ran a competition, and a guy posted a Photoshop of the first iteration of Slenderman. So it was a faceless guy, black suit, white shirt, and with tentacles, and he was just standing in the playground being all creepy. So that was the start, and then obviously that started his immediate popularity, and then it skyrocketed into its own its own films. Its character as its own films. It's a character in films. Its own video games. It's a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to cover the biggest thing it spawned off first. So, way back in, I don't know, sometime in the 21st century, I can't remember how long ago it was, there was a 12-year-old girl who was stabbed by her two friends who were trying to appease Slenderman, and this acted I think they were charged for murder, but they got off going to jail in exchange for going into a psychiatric hospital because obviously, that they could get off with a mental plea. Anyway, as I was saying, so Slendy. So Slendy, he's big, he's pale, doesn't have a face. He started this stabbing thing with the two girls who were trying to appease him, and this acted as a wake up call to everyone, and everyone fearing about Slenderman's influence on their children. It's and then there was I think it was a sheriff. It was either a sheriff or some form of policey government type who said that it should be a wake up call to parents. The internet's full of dark and dangerous things. Yada yada yada. So basically, Slenderman is it's still one of those revolving things that still happens. Either people edit it in videos, have people posing, stuff like that. But long and short of it is, Slendy still plays a role today, with people still claiming to spot him no matter what. Right, now that's over with. I'm just brief rundown and description of Slendy himself. So, the Slender, Slendy, is apparently quite tall. Depending on accounts, I think it is. I think he's tall. I think he's probably about 7 foot, maybe give or take. Because I mean, the one thing that is always associated with Slenderman is that there's always a child next to him, so it's always very difficult to try and gauge the height. But I'm gonna say it's around 7 foot. He's faceless with a suit that's all black except for a shirt, which is white. Very close to Agent 47, except Agent 47 has a red tie. Slendy's is black. Right. He's usually associated with forests or abandoned locations, as was seen in his games. In the actual film, which I highly recommend you guys watch. It was creepy, it was great. It had really good use of the slender sickness, which I'll talk about in a minute. Um, but there's two things actually about Slendy, which make him very interesting. So the more paranoid you are about his existence and him being around you, the more he's said to appear. So that combined with the slender sickness basically means you're screwed. Right, onto the thing I keep referencing, the slender sickness. So the slender sickness is apparently a rapid onset paranoia, nightmares, and delusions. So I'm going to say delusions is probably what seeing tendrils and stuff like that out of stuff that shouldn't really have it. Maybe actually Slendy himself when he's not actually there. Something with lights, reality perception. I don't know. It just said delusions. And then obviously paranoia, freaking out that he could be there when he isn't, and nightmares. I don't need to explain because everyone knows what nightmares are. Alright, one of the other abilities, I guess you could say that he has, is teleportation, which basically means you can't really run away unless he lets you go. Uh, so obviously everyone knows how teleportation works. You poof from one area to another area, but with Slendy, it looks like it only works with line of sight. Because I'm going to use the games for this as an example. So, with Slendy, the only time we see him teleport is when he's got a true, like, almost dead straight line of sight on you. So it's logical. So we could assume that whatever sense of sight he has, for a guy that doesn't have a face, we can assume that he may have some form of advanced perception, like through touch or something like that. Anyway, getting too technical with it, it might be what only he can perceive as there. So, or it might be that he can only do it when there's a living target that he can actually almost basically that he can physically see, not see. I don't know how it works. Right, the next thing that's commonly associated with him is tendrils, because everything needs tentacles, doesn't it? Basically, tendrils are all black. They're kind of silky. Here's a good example. Basically, picture Venom in the film from 2 years ago. Is it 2 years or a year ago? I don't know. Basically, picture that sort of like sleekness, I think, and that's sort of the effect of the tendrils, but basically they're black and they come out his back, and he can apparently use them as extra limbs if need be. Well, obviously he can because they're tentacles. You know what I mean? He can use them to help him walk or get something like that. Right. So one of the last things is that he can apparently interfere with audio and video recordings, as we've seen in films, video games, and etc. etc. With that, it might be some form of either electrical manipulation, which could, in theory, be plausible, considering it would take a hell of a lot of energy to do all the things that he can, or some form of maybe dead zone, because there are some areas where you can't get a good video or audio recording because there's poor reception and it interferes with the electronics. So Slendy might be his own walking dead zone. So alright. That basically wraps up the the full fact portion, basically. There's a YouTube channel that I'd recommend you go check out. It's called Gamers Revenge UK. Basically, it's a guy that believes that Slenderman's stalking him, and he's got all sorts of videos out about it. He's got a lot of vlogs, especially. If you don't believe they're real, go check them out because they're a good narrative. They're a good It's good setup. It's good filming. It's good. It's good. It makes you get involved with it. So it's really cool. If you do believe it's real, then it's a very fun, I guess, documentation of a guy that's supposedly being stalked by Slenderman. So there we go. So talking of the whether or not he is real, there's that I found a theory actually called ostentation. Basically, among folklorists like yours truly and hopefully the community at large, on this channel, basically the idea behind this is that folklorists recreate a folklore narrative. So, say for example, the werewolf. You go into the forest on a full moon. You howl, and you hopefully get a werewolf to attack and bite you, and then you turn into a werewolf. So that's I think that's the best way I can use it as an example. So that's what ostentation is. It's basically a folklorist recreating a story that they know. Reverse ostentation, from what I've read, appears to be creating a folklore story out of nothing. So it could be a lot of small stories pulled together with one, I guess, binding. And that's been the general idea with Slenderman, is that all of his stories come out of nothing. So, he apparently he's unique in that regard, which is rather cool. So, alright. I'm just going to give one more quick thing. I'm not going to tell you exactly how to do it, mainly because I can't be bothered. And also, yeah, I just can't be bothered, really. That, and plus, I really don't want to run the risk of, getting struck by YouTube when this channel's barely born. So I'm just going to do this quickly. Wow, this is terrible. Right. So, hang on. There we go. Right. So basically, it's not perfect, but this, I don't know if you can see that well. There? Something along that line, anyway, is usually associated with Slenderman. That's usually Slenderman's symbol. That we see on drawings in his video games, that we see mainly associated with him in the folklore and the films and all that jazz. Basically, that's also connected to apparently a thing in real life. That's sort of like the Bloody Mary thing, where basically you use that symbol as like the medium to try and get him to appear and breathe. Right. That's so the reason why I use Bloody Mary as an example is that you have to have the mirror as the medium. In this case, you've got to have that, and I believe a wooded or abandoned area as the extra medium. So yeah, there's a fair few videos out about that as well. Go watch them because they are quite cool. There's especially there's a guy that I watched that did it with a proper like EVP yeah, EVP machine. So he had full faith in his abilities because he'd done spiritual hands in the past, and he did the slender summoning, and apparently there were like spirits that were talking about him coming for him and stuff like that, but he waited there for like a fair few hours and there was nothing, so he gave up. So I'm not saying that's concrete scientific evidence of him actually being real or not. I'm not saying as well or about the Gamers Revenge UK thing that's whether it's fake, whether it's real, I don't know. I'm just saying that there's a lot of cool stuff about him that's spread through modern pop culture, really. And with that, we are going to wrap up. If you want to find out more, I'd recommend checking out, as I said, Gamers Revenge UK, checking out the videos I talked about earlier. One really good one is Life's Biggest Questions. They're a YouTube channel that's inquisitive about fiction, what would happen if fictional stuff happened IRL, or what happened or with more modern cases, or with more modern actual situational things. So like what if World War III happened is I think one that they did. It was a really good video. Check them out. Anyway, so yeah, I highly recommend you check out all of them for anything else, for anything extra that you guys wanted to find out. But other than that, that is it from me. I hope you have enjoyed exploring this myth with me. I am Alex, your myth explorer. I still don't know how to outro these. And I hope you guys have had fun. Remember to post a comment down below, something you guys want to see, and I'll look into it and I'll either make a video or community post about it. Or if you've had your own experiences with something out of folklore or myth, leave them down in the comments below as well. I'm always happy to read them. So that's it from me. I hope you guys have a great day. I will see you guys in 2 days for the official video for this week. For this week. Until then, keep it real, have a great day, and I will catch up with you all later.